Once upon a time it was the fattest girl in the village. She had always been fat since she was a baby, but as she grew older, she became even bigger. Because of this, she had no friends and was often alone. She was constantly mocked and harassed by the other girls in the village who called her names like pig and buffalo. They made fun of her clothes, which were always too tight or too short for her. They laughed and pointed fingers at her, and when she wasn't looking, they would place stones in her way, hoping she would fall so that they could laugh some more. This made her very unhappy and depressed. One day, a new family moved into the house beside hers. They had a daughter named Ayana, who was just about the same age as Ayana was slender and pretty, with long black hair and brown eyes. She wore colorful beads and bracelets, and had a lot of beautiful Andera dresses. Mosi quickly became popular among the other girls, who admired her and wanted to be her friend. She was curious about Ayana and hoped that they could be friends since they were neighbors. One day, she summoned up the courage and decided to approach Ayana while she was by the stream. She walked up to Ayana, who was surrounded by a group of other girls, and said timidly, "Hi, my name is Chi. I live in the house next to yours, and I would like to be your friend if you don't mind." Ayana looked at Chi and laughed an evil laugh. She said loudly for everybody to hear, "Chi, why would I want to be your friend? Why would I be friends with a girl as fat and ugly as you are? You are repulsive. Get away from here and never speak to me again." She then laughed, and so did the other girls. They all pointed at Chi and chanted, "Heavy, heavy, biggie, biggie. Nobody likes you." She felt a surge of pain and anger in her heart. She ran away crying and went home. She locked herself in her house, refusing to come out because she was sad. She ate even more food, finishing all the food meant for the entire family for dinner. She wished she could disappear or be someone else. A few days later, a royal messenger arrived in the village. He announced that Oba, the king of the kingdom, was looking for a bride and that he would visit the village soon to choose one. He said that all the eligible maidens in the village should prepare themselves for the king's arrival, and that the king would pick the most beautiful and charming one of them all. The news caused a lot of excitement and commotion in the village. All the girls, except Chi, started to dress up and adorn themselves with their best clothes and jewelry. They had practiced their manners and poses, hoping to impress the king. Ayana was the most confident and ambitious of them all. She was very sure that since she was so beautiful, the king would fall in love with her at first sight, and she would become the future queen. Chi, on the other hand, had no interest in the king or his visit. She felt that because she was fat, he would never choose her, and that she would be humiliated and rejected by him. She stayed in her hut all day, feeling sorry for herself and wished that she could escape from her miserable life. When the day of the king's visit finally came, the king arrived in the village with his entourage. He was tall and handsome, with a golden crown on his head and a lavish skin cloak around his shoulders. He greeted the village chief and elders and proceeded to meet the girls. Immediately, he walked around the village, looking at each girl carefully and asking them questions about their names and families. The girls tried their best to charm him with smiles and compliments, but he was not impressed. Ngozi was the most aggressive of them all. She showed off her looks and curvaceous figure in a seductive manner. The king was not impressed by Ayana either. He found her too vain, too loud, or too shallow. He was looking for a girl who was not only beautiful, but also humble and kind. He was about to give up and leave the village when he noticed Chi's hut that he had not visited yet. He asked the village chief who lived there, and the chief told him that it was Chi's parents' hut. The chief said that Chi was the fattest girl in the village and that she was always alone in her hut, sewing or talking to her plants. The chief warned the king not to bother checking on Chi because she was not his type. She was fat and very unattractive. The king was intrigued by Chi and decided to see her for himself. He walked around her hut and knocked on her door. Chi answered very faintly, "Who is it?" The king responded, "Chi, please don't be afraid. I mean you no harm. I just want to talk to you and get to know you." Chi hesitated, but she felt a strange pull towards the king's voice. She wondered what he wanted to talk to her about, and so she opened the door and let him in. When she opened the door, she saw the king standing outside, smiling at her. He was tall and very handsome, with beautiful brown eyes and a kind face. He looked at her with interest and not disgust or pity. The king walked into the hut and looked around. It was very small and simple, but also very clean. He saw the dresses that Chi had sewn, and he was very impressed. Then, he looked at Chi herself very carefully and saw a very beautiful woman. She was plump and curvaceous, with a beautiful oval face and large eyes. He said to her, "I am delighted to meet you, Chi, you have such a beautiful smile." She was sincerely surprised by the king's words. She did not expect him to notice or appreciate her. "Thank you," she said. "You are very kind." Chi and the king smiled at each other and felt a warm and tender feeling in their hearts. They spent the next few hours talking, laughing, and eating. Chi shared her past with the king. She told him of the humiliation she had gone through at the hands of her peers just because of her weight. The king shook his head sadly and told Chi that what he admired about her was her resilience. In fact, the minute he laid his eyes on her, he was attracted by her beauty and her curvaceous body, but most importantly, he appreciated the fact that she was very industrious and seemed to have a kind heart. Chi was overjoyed. She finally felt that regardless of her size, the king was in love with her. Meanwhile, outside the hut, the village was in uproar. The other girls, especially Ayana, were furious and jealous that the king had chosen to visit Chi and spend so long in her hut. Ayana had always disliked Chi. She hated her for being different and not fitting in. But what she hated the most about Chi was that, despite her being fat, she seemed happy and found joy in simple things. For a long time, Ayana had made Chi's life miserable. She did everything she could to make her feel worthless, taunting her, humiliating her, insulting her. She even stole her belongings and broke her water pot several times just to make her cry so that she could laugh at her tears. When all this didn't seem to break Chi, Ayana kept telling her that she was worthless and that her existence was a mistake. When Ayana realized that the king liked and looked at Chi with admiration, she knew she had to deal with Chi once and for all. She could not accept that Chi, the fat ugly loser, had won the handsome king and was soon going to become the future queen and the most envied girl in the village. Ayana just could not accept this, and so she decided to destroy Chi. She decided that she was going to take away Chi's love and happiness and make her suffer more than ever. In fact, she decided that she was going to go to the witch once and for all. The witch lived in the forest, far away from the village. She was feared and avoided by everyone because she was known to have dark and dangerous powers. She could cast spells and curses, and could manipulate fate, fortune, and the future, and make people mad, sick, and even dead. In fact, she was willing to do anything for a price. Uni was not really afraid of the witch, as she had gone there a couple of times. In fact, the only thing she was afraid of was losing the king and seeing Chi happy. She was willing to pay any price and to take any risk. That evening, Ngozi gathered all the coins that she had saved and set off into the forest, walking for hours until she reached the witch's hut. She knocked on the door and said, "Great Witch of the Woods, I need your help. I have come to make a deal with you." The witch opened the door and looked at Uni with a sly and wicked smile. She said, well, what do we have here?" "A pretty girl with a big problem." Come in, let's talk." Ngozi entered the hut and saw that it was dark and filled with strange and scary things: skulls, bones, feathers, and bottles of poison. The witch sat in front of a boiling cauldron, and beside her was a black cat, a snake, and an owl. Uni felt a chill down her spine, but she was not afraid. Chi's life was worth any price she had to pay. "So tell me, pretty little girl, what is your problem?" "What do you want me to do for you?" the witch asked. "Oh witch, I want you to make the king love me. I want you to make him hate Chi, make him choose me, and make him mine. I want you to leave Chi with nothing," Uni pleaded. "Oh, I see. You want me to make a love spell to enchant the king. This is a very serious spell, my dear. It is not one to be toyed with," the witch replied. But Uni was not fazed. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I want the spell." "Can you do it?" The witch answered, "Of course I can do it, but I will do it for a small price." "Name your price, witch." "I will pay," Uni said. The witch laughed. "My price is simple, pretty little girl. My price is your soul." Uni was shocked. "My soul? What do you mean, my soul?" she asked. "Yes, your soul. I mean your essence and your spirit. I want that thing that makes you who you are, that thing that makes you human." "What will you do with my soul?" Uni asked. "Can't I give you money?" "I don't want your money," the witch replied. "I want your soul. I will keep it and use it for my pleasures. I'll use it to make more spells and potions, to make myself stronger and more powerful. I'll become the best, and I will have it all." Uni became scared. "What will happen to me without my soul?" she asked. The witch let out a loud, high-pitched laugh. "You will lose it," she shrieked. "Of course you will lose yourself. You will lose your feelings, thoughts, and dreams. You'll become nothing. But will I have the king? Will I have his love? Or will I become queen?" Uni asked. Goi took the potion and looked at it. She saw the red, foul-smelling liquid and felt a twinge of doubt, but she ignored it quickly and drank the potion, giving the witch her soul. She immediately screamed and felt a surge of pain and a wave of nausea. She fell to the ground, writhing in agony. She screamed and cried and begged for mercy, and eventually drifted into a dark, joyless sleep where she saw nothing. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear more captivating African tales, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel African Tales by Ayana. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on new stories and help support the channel's mission of sharing the rich cultural heritage of Africa through storytelling. Join us on this enchanting journey and spread the magic of African folklore with your friends and family.